Miss Cindy's Kitchen, and I should say welcome back because I'm blessed to have a lot of repeat viewers and new subscribers, and I really appreciate that. And please make sure you've liked and subscribed and share this video to your friends and leave us a comment. We love to hear from you. And what I'm making tonight is what a lot of people consider to be a special dessert because it does take a little bit longer to make, but the end result will be worth it. So it's something you can serve your family for perhaps Valentine's Day or a Super Bowl gathering, or anytime you have company, you can make a pretty dessert and everybody will be oohing and ahhing over it. So what I'm going to make is a pineapple upside down cake.
Ooh.
Yes, and I'm making it in a Bundt pan. It's got all the crooks and crevices. I got a clump of flour here. And if you grease it, you need to make sure you get all the little nooks and crannies of the Bundt pan to make sure that your cake doesn't stick. So you grease it with some shortening and then flour it. Alternately, you can use a product that's called Baker's Joy, which is a combination grease and flour product that you spray on your bakeware. So anyway, what we're gonna do first, let's get a scraper. I forgot that. All right, a scraper. You always gotta have a scraper. So we're going to post a recipe card for this simply because it has got a lot of ingredients and a lot of steps, but I've got them all laid out and I will walk it through slowly for you guys. So we're going to have a total of 1.5 cups of butter. So that's a half a cup, and it's room temperature. So I had to soften it in the microwave, and the sticks softened at different times, so I had them on different plates. And this is 2 sticks for a cup. So again, that's a cup and a half of butter.
That's a lot of butter.
Yes, this is more of a pound cake type of recipe. So it's got a lot more ingredients. And just like Wilford Brimley used to say in the Quaker Oats commercial, what we have here is diabetes. No, but it calls for 3 cups of sugar.
3 cups of sugar.
Yes. So this is going to be a very, very rich dessert.
Wow.
So I guess it could be rich like our $1 million spaghetti. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to start by creaming the sugar and butter together. So, and the mixer is still plugged in from a previous episode, so we won't have to pause for that tonight. So that's going to need to cream for at least 5 to 7 minutes. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is mix the flour ingredients. And that is 3 cups of regular all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a ½ teaspoon of soda. So we're going to put that in there. And there's no additional salt in this because we have salted butter. And the author of this recipe felt that that was enough salt. So we're going to get that ready. And then, this has actually it's a multi-step recipe, but let me scrape down the mixer. And this is the first time I've tried it. I've wanted to make a pineapple upside down cake for a while and just never got around to it. And funny story, it took us 4 family members about 20 minutes to a half an hour and 2 store clerks to find the closest thing to maraschino cherries Walmart had. Premium cocktail cherries. So here's the cherries that we finally found at Walmart. It took us a while. I felt like we were on a scavenger hunt on a game show. Because they weren't by the ice cream, they weren't by the fruit, they weren't by the desserts. They were nowhere to be found except in the cocktail section. It's the closest thing. They're still sugary sweet. And they'll do. So sometimes you gotta make substitutions. Do the best you can with what you can find. Alright, So we're going to let that cream, and then after it's creamed, we will add in these 5 eggs that I've already broken into a bowl. And then, okay, so, alright, we're going to, and then one of the steps is to take the pineapple juice from the can of pineapple, and it'll be about 6 ounces or 3/4 of a cup. And it actually is. I got it in a measuring pitcher. And then we put in 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. So we're going to put that in here because it goes in at a different step of the recipe.
So where did you get the recipe from?
This recipe I found online, and it is from tastesoflizzietea.com.
Okay. Because we found like at least a half a dozen recipes for pineapple upside down cake.
And this one I like the best because it looked really pretty in a Bundt pan. And I just wanted to try it that way. So, that's that. So that's the part with the pineapple juice and the vanilla. So now this is all nice and floofy. So we're going to add in the eggs. Just add your eggs in one at a time. And just let them get incorporated. It's hanging. It's hanging on. Yep, it's in the bowl. Okay. Alright, waiting for that egg yolk to get incorporated. So now I'm going to drop the last egg in there. Alright. So I'm going to drop down the mixing bowl and scrape down the sides. Got batter on my arm here.
Looks good.
Yeah. Alright. So if you want to make an extra special dessert for your loved one or your significant other or your family, you can try out this recipe. It has multiple steps, but once you break it down, it's not too difficult. It just starts with mixing your butter mixture like you do with a normal cake. Alright, so now we're going to add in the flour mixture. So, let me get a smaller measuring cup so I don't block the camera. I like having all of my bakeware doodads right next to the counter where I do most of my work. So, I'm going to add that in. So in this recipe, we're adding the flour mixture to the butter, sugar, and egg mixture. And then we will add the pineapple juice mixture. Making a nice thick batter. And you gotta do this gradually so you don't get too much whoof coming out of the mixing bowl. So while this is mixing, make sure that you've liked, subscribed, and share this video to your friends. And leave us a comment. We love hearing from you all. And if you think of something you'd like to see us make or a suggestion for trying something differently, just let us know. Alright, we're almost got all of this in there, so just a little bit more. Tap, tap, tap. Alright. Put this over here, get it out of the way. Now we're going to pause this and drop it down and scrape it down.
Gosh, that looks so good.
It's a very rich batter. It's almost like a very rich pound cake, and I believe the origin recipe for pound cake was a pound of this and a pound of that, like a pound of eggs, a pound of flour, a pound of butter, that kind of thing is how the origin of the name. I believe that's how the story goes. But if you guys have another any feedback on that, let me know. I always love learning new things. Alright. And now, I'm going to add the pineapple juice and vanilla mixture. And do that just slowly. The batter is getting more wet.
You still got a little piece of batter on the side of the bowl here.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. Alright, so let me drop it down and mix it up again. And I'll get that little stray bit of batter. Alright. So we're going to scrape it down. You always want to scrape to the bottom of the bowl. So that way make sure you get all your flour mixture. And I'm going to rotate the beater to move it around the bowl so I can get to the back side. Well, apparently it just keeps covering up the back side, but that's okay.
Well, they say you got to cover up your backside.
Try telling that to teenagers.
Yep.
Okay. And whoever came up with the saggy pants era, I don't know. I always wonder when people walk everywhere, how they manage that when their belt is fastened to their pants around their thighs or their quadriceps. It's like, how can you even walk? You'd think it would make you walk like a duck if you had to hold your legs together to hold your pants up.
I heard some people say it, to me it actually is very comfortable to wear. I don't know how that is, but it just is.
I don't know. Anyway, so now we're going to assemble the cake. And what we're going to do is mix the melted butter and the brown sugar. So let me get another scraper.
There she goes.
A scraper and a whisk, just in case I need either one. Alright. Yeah, we got some spinach on this one. That's a hazard of eating a lot of vegetables in our house. Alright. So, got a whisk. Got lots of whisks. Lots of scrapers. Because I bake a lot. If you haven't already observed that. So, since this bowl just held sugar, I'm going to reuse it. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Sugar. Never mind.
Sugar, sugar, sugar?
That bowl you're mixing into held sugar.
Yeah. I used it to measure out the sugar. So, half a cup of packed brown sugar and a quarter cup of butter melted. Let's go ahead and squish that down. Doesn't that look delicious?
It does.
This is going to be the first ingredient we place into our Bundt pan.
Really?
And why do we have a lump in the brown sugar? This is a new batch. Alright. Must be all the moist weather we've had with the rain. Okay. I know somebody will want to lick that, so I'll save it aside. Alright. So, let's go ahead and put this in the Bundt pan. Gotta change my grip here. Oops. And one of my friends at work told me how to make chocolate flan in a Bundt pan, so maybe I can try that in a future episode.
Ooh.
I always love learning new recipes.
I love flan.
Yep, especially chocolate flan.
Oh, yeah.
It's a combination of chocolate cake and homemade flan. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So I'm going to evenly disperse this. So spread it around. So we spread it around so it's roughly even.
Nice.
And now we're going to place the pineapple rings. We're going to place the pineapple rings in the pan. So, you just dust this off. Wow, there's a lot more juice in there. That was hiding. Alright. Wonder if I should put that rest of that juice in the mixing bowl. I want to make sure the batter gets together correctly. Alright. So, pineapple ring. Lay it in there. And Gonna put that in there. Just gonna go around the middle post of this.
So you just lay them on top of the brown sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said 6 of these. All right. And what do you know? It takes exactly 6 to go around the bottom of the Bundt pan. And then we have our maraschino cherries. And before I forget, let me mix this up really good. Let me put this over here. All right. Mix in the last bit of pineapple juice. Because the viscosity of the batter matters. All right. Now, you guys can see how blood red these cherries are. All right. So, let me get some out here. See, look how
those
dark.
are dark.
Those are dark. All right. And the first sniff of this jar, I was thinking of cough syrup because we just came out of cough season back in December. So they're really, really dark. So you get a nice up close view of a cherry. I'm gonna plop that in there. I'm gonna put them in between each pineapple ring because they make a really pretty garnish. And then I'm going to put a few around the pineapple rings. Yeah, it looks like I need one more. Ah, this one's prettier. Okay. Alright. So now that we have got, this is what the bottom of the pan looks like. We've got the brown sugar butter mixture, followed by the pineapple rings and the cherries. And now we're going to put the batter in there. All right. Let me get this scraper. All right. I'm getting tired of hearing the tapping on the bowl, so I'm just going to scrape it off this time. All right. Get that all off of there. And this will bake at 325 for about 70 to 90 minutes.
Wow.
Basically because it's a very thick and dense cake.
I was hoping I had some tonight, but maybe I'll have some tomorrow.
You're probably
Have it
looking
for
at
breakfast.
Yeah.
breakfast. All right.
Maybe not for breakfast. Maybe for dessert tomorrow night. It'd be really,
I'll have it for breakfast.
Yeah. We might do our taste test in the morning before work at this rate.
That is thick batter.
And that's after adding in the remainder of the pineapple juice. Oops.
I didn't realize how thick that was.
Yeah. Because it's almost like a loaf cake batter. Turn this around. Just like the seasons, we gotta turn, turn, turn. And I believe the origin of the pineapple upside down cake, you know, came back from the era where people would make cakes in a skillet on their wood stove and then invert it onto a plate to serve it.
what era? Like what?
Back when people used wood stoves, like the late 1800s into the early part of the 20th century.
I mean, pineapple upside down cakes are been around as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and I think in the 20s when pineapple first started to be canned and sold in the U.S., they had contests for recipes using canned pineapple. And so a lot of versions of this came up. All right, so I think that's full enough. So what we're gonna do is the oven is already at 325, and then we're gonna cook it for about 70 minutes and then we'll check on it. And I have a little cake tester that I will do, and you want to make sure that the batter is fully cooked. So you want to make sure there's no wet crumbs when you pull the tester out, like perhaps a toothpick or a skinny skewer. So anyway, we'll bring you back at that stage, and so make sure that you've liked and subscribed and shared this video, and leave us your feedback. We love hearing from you, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and the cake is now out of the oven. It needed about 80 minutes to cook. I set it for 70, checked it, it wasn't quite ready, and then I added a little bit more time. So it was just slightly less than 80 minutes. So, and what the recipe recommends doing is to immediately transfer it onto a serving platter to invert it.
Okay.
So, this particular pan came with a cake box. So I went and got that out of storage, which is why I just had to stop and wash it. And this will protect the cake once we flip it over. I'll just let the top dry a little bit. So I'm going to loosen it a tiny bit just to make sure that it's loose, because this is a non-stick pan that's also been greased and floured. And it did kind of go up and over the top a little bit. But it looks like it made a nice crust.
Sure did.
There's so many different versions of pineapple upside down cake, but I really liked what I saw when I saw this Bundt version, and it got rave reviews. So I often go by personal recommendations and reviews when I go for recipes and stuff. So I'm just trying to make sure it's loose on the areas where it may be sticking. Alright, so here comes the tricky part. You know, going to flip it over. So just make sure you get a grip on both sides, and then invert. These are real thick mitts here. So I'm going to take one of these off so I can loosen this gradually. Wow. Whoops.
Oh, wow.
It's only sticking a tad. What is the dog doing behind me? She's licking her butt.
No, she's... It's like she found some snacks on the floor.
Alright. So,
Oh my gosh.
it looks like it came out. This is the little ring around the cone here. It's just some cake batter. So, this is the beautiful pineapple upside down cake.
My gosh, that looks so delicious.
Yeah. So, the cherries are a little darker than the maracchinos would be, but we tried. Believe me, if 6 people can't find maraschino cherries in a neighborhood Walmart, they ain't there.
Yeah.
So, these are a close second. So, anyway, we've got a nice, beautiful cake. So, what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit overnight and rest. Simply because it's late, the cake is hot, and we got to work in the morning. So, we'll bring you back tomorrow and let you know how yummy the cake is. So make sure you've liked and subscribed and shared to your friends, and leave us a comment and join us for the taste test. And now that the cake has sat around for a whole day while we were busy running around, we are ready to do the taste test because it's nice and cool. And although we didn't have the maraschino cherries, which would have made more of a pink red decoration, you know, we'll see how these taste. So, you ready, Logan?
Yep.
All right. Big
old piece of pineapple right there.
Woohoo! It's kind of a big piece, but it has the consistency of pound cake.
Oh wow, it does. It sure does.
Okay. Right here.
That's the best part with all the goodies on it.
Piece might be a little too big.
Yeah. Dahlia is standing by for any crumbs.
Get the pineapple and the cherry. And cake's got a nice little, not too dense, not too airy consistency. And the pineapple's got a good flavor, and then the cocktail cherries. Not tart, but not overly sweet like the maracchinos might be.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So, now that we got this done, we're going to start looking for maraschino cherries at a different store next time we're out about town. See if somebody else may have them. So anyway, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Miss Cindy's Kitchen. And make sure you like and subscribe and share to your friends. And leave us a comment. And we are aiming to hit 1,000 subscribers. So please give me as many likes and shares as you possibly can. And refer your friends to subscribe. And then when we hit 1,000, we can do a live episode. And you all can give me suggestions on what you'd like me to film. So anyway, have a great evening. See you again soon.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, and neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.